Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's coverage of the ongoing civil war inside of the former state of Ethiopia, today we're going to delve in and have a look at the two biggest problems right now for the Abiy Ahmed regime. So, on the surface, you would think that the biggest issue for the Abiy Ahmed regime is a fully autonomous and independent Tigray region that has a very powerful military force backing it, which it does. And in all probability, at some point, that could become the greatest threat to Abiy Ahmed. But as in terms of right now, as we speak, in terms of growing threats to the Abiy Ahmed regime, is more internally. And there's two uh, big issues right now that is of the highest concern for the Abiy Ahmed regime, and that is one, the continued fighting that is taking place inside of the Oromia region, with the Oromo Liberation Army controlling vast areas of the Oromia region. But now, more significantly, even, is another threat to the Abiy Ahmed leadership circle and the Prosperity Party, and that is elements within the Amhara region. So, as we speak right now, the Fano paramilitary organization is quite possibly under its own fully autonomous command, and at many times is not responding to any sort of leadership calls from the Prosperity Party or the Abiy Ahmed regime. And in fact, we are now seeing Fano operate really autonomously, and again doing its own thing, and in certain cases even going after Abiy loyalist formations when it does not like the leadership decision making process from the Abiy Ahmed loyalist formations. So again, as this conflict progressed, and we witnessed both the invasion of Tigray, and then we observed the Tigrayan Defense Forces launch a punitive invasion into the Amhara region. That is when we started to see these regional militias, specifically Fano, start to take up arms and become more and more powerful. Obviously, they really started to pick up in terms of their power base once Western Tigray was invaded, and certain areas of other parts of the Tigray region were invaded and occupied, and the Abiy loyalist formation started to utilize these Amhara paramilitary units to go in some cases, ethnically cleanse areas of Western Tigray and some other areas inside the Tigray region. And then they used them as certain occupational forces, especially in areas south of the Tekezi River in this area here, just north of DRK. But these forces continued to grow, meaning those forces, the Fano militia forces, continued to grow and get larger. And right now, numbers anywhere from the tens of thousands upwards to quite possibly close to 100,000 individuals that have taken up arms in support of this nationalistic Fano organization. And as I talked about in previous videos, that we could in fact start to see a more independence type of movement for the Fano organization, completely separate from the centralized federal government. And again, it's all about power and who has power within your area. And right now, Fano holds quite a bit of power in the Amhara region, to the point where it's becoming a great concern to Abiy Ahmed and the Prosperity Party, and especially the National Intelligence Service of Abiy Ahmed is looking at this very, very closely. And given some of the atrocities that have happened, not just against the Tigray region, but forces of the federal forces that were attempting to make tactical withdrawals in some areas, such as Waldea. We did see the Fano organization actually attack some of those federal forces. But as of right now, there are again large areas in the Amhara region that are now being controlled by the Fano organization, and a lot of cases they are no-go zones for the actual Ethiopian National Defense Forces or the Abiy loyalist formation. So again, they have their own goals and their own objectives within the context of the civil war. And then obviously the Abiy Ahmed forces have their own goals as well. So as of right now, the primary goal for the Abiy Ahmed forces, the Abiy loyalist forces, is the crushing of the Oromo Liberation Army, and that is going very slowly and with great difficulty at this point in time. And again, that is primarily because of the collapse of the Abiy loyalist forces when many of these units were engaged and destroyed within the context of the fighting that occurred in the Tigray region. And then after the TDF then invaded the Amhara region, inflicting many, many more casualties on the Abiy loyalist forces, which created kind of a power vacuum in the Amhara region where these Fano units could then become the power base within the Amhara region, and that's what we're seeing right now. And again, all this really comes back to really one person or two people, and the calculus that was made, or the miscalculus that was made in the invasion of the Tigray region, and that was the decision by Abiy Ahmed with his mentor Isaias Afwerki, the despotic leader of Eritrea, to invade the Tigray region. So if that were never to have happened, we would probably not be seeing a lot of the issues we are seeing now in other parts of the former state of Ethiopia. So again, we're starting to see that Amharan-centric military force continuing to rise and coalesce, as I talked about probably half a year ago, that I would anticipate that occurring, and indeed we are seeing that occurring as we speak. And then obviously the Oromo Liberation Army was even able to gain even more traction and take over large swaths of territory. So again, that decision to invade the Tigray region has created a domino effect. And again, that domino effect is the increase in the Oromo Liberation Army attacks on federal sites and seizing control of towns in the Oromia region. And again, it is debilitating for the ENDF and the regional security forces that are attempting to move in these areas. It's again very, very difficult for these forces, meaning the Abiy loyalist forces, either at the federal police or the actual ENDF, to move in these areas, again because much of it is controlled now by the Oromo Liberation Army, and now which in all likelihood is going to become even a greater threat, is going to be the rise of these Fano nationalist militia units that are no longer responding to Abiy Ahmed orders coming into the Amhara region. They are not going, in all probability, to disarm and again look to maintain and even increase their power base inside of the Amhara region. So, excuse me, really just not a good situation in terms of a cohesive state. And again, that's why I refer to Ethiopia as the former state of Ethiopia. Again, this is a house of cards that has collapsed, and the ability to set the house right again under the leadership of Abiy Ahmed is probably going to be almost impossible to do. So again, right now, just in terms of what either is a that are forces that are now directly challenging Abiy Ahmed. One, you have the Oromo Liberation Army, to include some other ethnic groups around the Oromo region. You have the TDF, the Tigrayan Defense Forces in the Tigray region, actively fighting the former centralized government, which more or less now acts as a city-state in Addis Ababa, also known as Finfine. And now you have the rise of these Fano militias who are not standing down and seeking their own power and privilege within this fragmented society. So again, wanted to go over that and talk about that. One other issue to note, again, is the suppression of the media in the former state of Ethiopia. It is very, very difficult to get any news or information, predominantly if it is not a pro-Abiy news source. Anything less than a pro-Abiy news source and or governmental organization is being systematically taken down. And again, that is in all probability the desire of Abiy Ahmed and his inner circle to maintain power in perpetuity. That's the news for today. More to come very soon. Have a good day, everybody.